First of all, thank you everybody for attending today. We really appreciate it. I've got an awesome group of product and technical experts to help introduce IR Studio. Hopefully our goal here is to make sure everybody understands what that is and sort of how to get started. And so your ramp up time will be a little bit easier, hopefully, once you have some familiarity with the product and with what we're doing here at Infinite Reality. Stuart on the customer success team, he'll give you an overview of IR Studio, talk about some of the resources that are available to you. And then we'll have Ross, who's one of our, the director of product market or product development. He'll walk through a demo to show you how it actually works, some of the things you can do in there. And then Griffin, our CTO, can talk about some of the back-end advances that we've made with IR Studio. And then we have a couple of VPs of products here, Kevin and Nima, and they're going to walk you through some of the upcoming features and things that you can look forward to. And then we'll get to some Q&A at the end, and we'll get everybody situated with that. I'm going to pass the baton over to Stuart to talk to you folks a little bit about IR Studio and what it is and how to all that good stuff. So Stuart.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, my name's Stuart. I lead the customer success team here at IR, and I assume most of you probably have an idea of what IR Studio is, but figured I'd give you a quick overview of what's available today, and then want to talk a little bit about the resources that we provide as well. So when you sign up for Studio, you get access immediately to the Studio editor itself, which allows you to build your 3D space. It gives you all the tools you'll need to build out the scenes that you're wanting to build out with no coding required. That's the best part. Very, very easy to use. And with that comes the setup wizard. And the setup wizard is a helpful assistant that guides you through the process of creating your 3D space. So if you don't have the background in 3D, this wizard is extremely helpful and can help you set up a space in just minutes. Within Studio, you also get ready to use templates. I mean, it's as simple as drag and drop. You can drag and drop 3D assets within the editor. We have ready to use templates within the wizard, so you can build your spaces really easily. And you have the ability to import your own 3D files as well, which is really great. We also have custom avatars, so it lets you and your visitors, express themselves in designing their own avatars when they're in your space. And we also have one-click deployment. So what one-click deployment actually is when you're creating these spaces, it's a web-based browser. You have no need to manually format. You can just immediately publish your space for all of your users to see, which is incredible, super easy to use. We also have the ability to create your own custom domains. So you can choose your own easy to share URL. So you can share it out and let people come to your space. We also have the ability for Shopify integration. So if you are an e-commerce or you want to sell products within your scenes, we can seamlessly connect you to Shopify. You can display your catalog in the 3D space. And also you get your own analytics dashboard. So you can measure and optimize your site's performance with the data that you own. Ultimately, these are all the different areas that you get immediately when you sign up for Studio. And today, Ross, who's coming up next, is going to be walking you through the editors briefly, but mainly focusing on the wizard. So you can see how easy it is to actually set up your own 3D space. Jason, if you want to hop to the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about our resources. I lead the customer success team, and we understand that coming into 3D is new and different. And if you don't have any experience, we are here to help. That's what our team's job is. We want to help you get signed up. We want to help you actually build your 3D spaces. We have lots of resources to do that. So here's all the different links, but essentially you can sign up for Studio. Within Studio itself, we have an entire documentation platform where you can go through and read all of the different tools and things that you might need to understand to use the software itself. One of the big things that we offer is one-on-one consults. So we want to connect with you. We want to offer you one-on-one time with our teams if you need any help, whether it's training, actually helping you build out your first scenes, learning how to use the editor, anything that you need help with, our team's here to help, and you can just sign up and schedule a 30-minute session with us whenever you want. Super helpful. And then finally, we also have our help center and Discord channel. So the help center is where you can create tickets. If there's anything that you need help with, you can just send us an email, create a ticket. We'll get back to you immediately. Or if you want more real-time help, we also have a Discord channel. So you can hop into our Discord anytime during our working hours, 9 to 5, and we're there. You can chat with us. We can help you. Really just want to make it as easy as possible for you to connect with us and get the help that you need. So just wanted to give you that brief overview, but rather than just talking about Studio, let's get in and actually look at it and see what it's about. So Ross, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks a bunch, Stuart. Yeah, great resources, by the way. Highly recommend folks reach out and engage with Stuart's team. They're great to work with. Basically, I've got my dashboard up. The only step before this that I won't show is just signing into the Studio. So naturally, you'll sign in. And then you'll come to your page, your dashboard. It might look a little different. It'll be blank most likely, or you'll only have a few projects here. But we can set up a immersive store using the wizard by simply just clicking add scene in any of the projects that you have. If you don't have a project, you'll want to create a project first. And then you'll click add scene, and you'll be prompted here with a very simple choice. We can either do the setup wizard, which is what we're going to do today. This is to enter into the setup wizard, where it will assist us in filling out a store using a template. Or we can choose a blank scene where this will actually jump us straight into the editor, which we won't do right now, but maybe if time permits, we'll show a little bit of that at the end. So I'm going to just continue into the setup wizard here. And you'll see we get plopped right into kind of what you'd see as within the editor, a blank scene here. And we have a couple of choices of templates along the side here that we can pick from. And we are continually releasing new templates. So if you joined and tried this out when we first launched a few months ago, you may notice there's a few more in here from then. So keep coming back and checking back for more because we are putting out more. I'm going to select this first one here. This is our newest one called Aurelia. And this is really focused on kind of like a luxury store type of feel. And so you can see once I select it, it'll take a second to load in on the screen. And then you can kind of rotate the camera around to take a look at it. If you think that looks good, you'll press next. And then you can select your backdrop or your skybox. And now one thing to note is because we do use environment maps, for those of you savvy in 3D, you may understand what that means. For those who don't, basically the actual environment outside is going to change the way the lighting looks. So you can see as I select one of these, it'll take a second to load in, and then it'll actually change the lighting in real time here. So you can kind of cycle through the backgrounds, even if there isn't really a window in the scene, to get some sort of lighting effects that you may want. I'm just going to pick a midday because that'll be a neutral kind of as the template is built color out here. And then I'll hit next. And then it's going to ask us to populate our Shopify store. And so I'll hit continue. You'll notice I've already got this information filled out. But if you don't know how to obtain this information, we do have documentation on how to do it here. So you can click here and it'll open out our docs. Within our docs, we actually have a video showing you how to get this information, and we are working on making it easier for you in the future. But what you'll need is your Shopify domain. So that's just whatever your Shopify domain is when you set up your Shopify account, and then a storefront API key. And again, the documentation here is what will walk you through how to actually get your storefront API key and plug that in here. Once you've got those plugged in, we do a little verification check here. You can see along the side, there's 2 check marks. So that means I'm good to go with that. And then I can press continue. And once I have that connected, now you'll see it's starting to pull in my products from my Shopify store here along the left side. And this is basically going to walk me through step by step each product placement in the scene and give me the opportunity to select some products. So here, I'm just going to look for a dress. I'll pick one of these dresses, and we do support both 3D and 2D objects. So here you can see this is actually a 3D object on a mannequin, and I can resize it here up at the top here so we can scale it up or down to get it into a good fit. I think that looks pretty good for this one. Then we'll press next, and the camera will move automatically to the next thing. I'll pick this dress for this one, and we're going to display 2 of them here. I'll also scale these up so they look a little better in the scene here. Okay, moving on down. Let's pick the blue dress for this side here, and we'll scale these up accordingly as well. And then maybe for these wall displays, maybe instead of a dress, maybe I want to do a watch. So I'll pick this watch here. I'll also scale this up a little bit so it fits nicely in the frame. And then we've got a number of these kind of in the center here. I think I'll do this gold watch. You'll see they all pull in as 3D objects. So if you have uploaded 3D objects to your Shopify store, again, they'll display as 3D objects. But what if they're just images like most people? Well, I'll show you with this watch here. This is actually a 2D image where we have a transparent background. And just like a 3D object, it's going to pull in and display just as it is as a 2D image. So you really have ultimate flexibility here. If you just have images, they can be displayed as a 2D image as a plane. But if you have a 3D object, which we do recommend, and we can help you out if you contact Stuart's team on how to generate or make your own 3D objects as well for your products, we pull those in. So then it's going to ask me to upload a logo or an image. So I'm going to go out here and just find, a store logo here. I like this one, just kind of a generic watch placeholder logo that I have. So you can upload your store logo here, and we are working on improvements actually to this whole flow to make placement and resizing, etc. easier. And then it's going to ask if I have a video. I can also upload a video to the scene. For the sake of this demo, I'm actually going to try to find, let's see, a short video here. And what I want to do is I'm going to actually pick one, here that is short and doesn't have sound on purpose, just to show you guys that the video does come in here. And I'll turn the volume down here. So here you can see the actual display here, previewing what the video will look like. And it's just static here in the actual scene for now. Once I actually enter the preview mode, it will start playing. So then we've filled out the whole space. We've got a couple of images. We've got our actual 3D models and our store filled out with products. Now we can personalize it a little bit. So here we can actually change the colors if we want. I actually really like this white marble, so I'm going to keep that as it is. But maybe for the accent colors, the black, maybe I want to make this more of like a grayish color, so we can do that on the color picker. And then for the accent colors, I think maybe more of like a darker color for these would look better. So I'll do this as like the black instead. Okay, and then it's that easy. You can see as I drag around, this is actually live updating. So, maybe we wanted to make it red, so I'll change that to red as well. So you've got primary, secondary, and accent colors. You can kind of cycle through and just really get a nice kind of aesthetic depending on your store brand here. And then I'll press next, and it's time to preview. So we offer you some of the controls here. You're going to use the left mouse button, click and hold to look around or rotate the camera. And then you can use the WASD keys or the arrow keys to move around your space. And so you'll see I'm this, our default IR avatar by default. If you do have an account and you log in within the actual editor or viewer, you can actually create your own custom avatar using our Ready Player Me plugin. But for now, in the preview step, I'm just the default avatar. And I can run around in here. All of these products are live. Again, these products are being pulled directly from our Shopify store. So if I run up to one of these and I interact with it here, you'll see it actually pulls up the live product information directly from my Shopify store. So this is the actual title. All of this text is being pulled directly from my Shopify store, the description, all of this. And there's also a 3D viewer here, so you can see kind of the 3D model. You can cycle through the images. You can see the price. And users also will be able to add this to their cart. So if I press add to cart, you'll see it gets added there. Now, in this preview mode, I can't actually check out, but in the actual published scene, you can check out with these spaces as well. You can also see now we've got that video playing in the back here, and all of these products are actually interactable. So if I run up to this watch, for example, now I can cycle through the product images for the watch. I can also add that to the cart, etc. So it's that easy. In a matter of a few seconds, we basically have a fully set up 3D store. with all of our products, images, logos, etc. We've got good lighting in here, all of that. And now, if I'm ready, if I'm done, I can press publish here, and we can give the store a name. Let's call it new store, and then it will automatically default to whichever project you were in. You can generate a thumbnail from this view, or you can kind of go back and set up a different view. I'll press generate. We can change that again later, no problem. And then you can also set the social settings. So, maybe I only, I don't want users to actually interact with each other in this space, so I'm going to turn that off here. Then I just press save and publish. This will take a second while it actually wraps the whole project up together and publishes it to a URL. And then here you go. We've got an output URL where I can actually copy and put that into a new web browser here and show you the finished product of this published store. So it'll take a minute for me to load in. You'll see all the products kind of pop in there. And now here we are in that fully fledged store that I just built literally a minute ago. And now we're in it here live. I can go up to that same dress or like the watches, for example, and I can actually interact with these. And I can add them to the cart. And I'll just show you this real quick. Now we have a cart icon that appears at the top. And I can actually check out by purchasing this now too. So if I press checkout, this is actually going to open the storefront Shopify store with the cart already filled out with those items that I added to my cart. And I can go through the normal checkout process. So that's basically it in terms of the store setup. It's really that easy, super quick. But let's just say I wanted to go back and go edit this further. Just so you guys are aware, right now we are working on reopening scenes into the flow here. But if let's just say I wanted to go back in and do some changes here, I would go into my dashboard and I can open that scene directly from the dashboard here into the editor itself. And then by opening the editor, you'll see this is a very different view. Don't be too overwhelmed. I promise it's not that hard to navigate once you get used to it. And we can zoom in here. We'll see that's the exact store we just set up here. And this is how I would navigate them and actually edit each individual aspect of it. So I'm not going to get too deep into that today. Really, we just wanted to give you guys a high level overview. But again, if you wanted to go back in and edit, just to navigate here, you've got some your viewpoint here, which is actually a view into the live scene itself. You've got any of your other scenes in the same project that you've set up down here. And then you've got your hierarchy menu, which actually represents all of the different objects within the scene here. And you'll notice we have the template, which I selected in the actual wizard flow here, represented as a hierarchy. And that template is the container for all of these objects. So then I can go in and start to add different objects, different things from the assets panel. If I wanted to, I could add components and additional functionality. This is how I would go do that. And with that, I think I'm going to call it here for the day. If you do have questions about any of that flow or how to set up a store or how to get in and edit it further, please do use those links that Stuart shared and reach out to his team because his team is great with this stuff.
Hey, Ross.
Right. Yeah.
Real quick, will you show how to preview from the editor?
Totally, yeah. So if I wanted to just preview from this view, it's really simple. There's a little play button here at the top. In the top header bar here that looks like a play button. It says preview scene if I hover over this. And if I press preview scene right here, you'll see I spawn in as that default avatar again. Now, if I were to select a different avatar, I could also preview as that. And you can see I'm basically running around in the scene just as I was in the preview mode within the wizard by just pressing that play button. And it has the same interaction capabilities. You can see I can still interact with the products and do all of the same things that I could. Again, the only difference in preview mode is I won't be able to actually go through that full checkout process that I showed you. You have to do that in the actual live scene. And then I can just press stop preview and it takes me right back here.
Thanks, Ross.
All right, thank you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Griffin now.
Let's see, Griffin.
Thank you, Ross, for the walkthrough. Let me just share my screen here for a second. So this is the first release of IR Studio, but some of you have been with us for, I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 months at this point, and have been using what up until this point has essentially been a managed hosted game engine. But IR Studio is meant to be so much more than that. We started this journey I think about 5 years ago. And building a game engine is a very complicated task. What started as IR engine, in order to make it this product, we had to consider essentially all of the technical issues that game developers encounter as they're building from scratch. And we have to make sure that you don't see any of those issues. And if you look at my LinkedIn feed, you'll know that everything from textures to how many triangles go into a scene to basically everything you see that Ross just did is a minefield of terrible things that will just ruin the experience. So there's just a ton of work that has gone into making IR Studio a product that you can sign up. You can do what Ross just did, and you can publish what is in practice a multiplayer video game, 3D video game, in like a couple minutes that Ross just showed you. So for those of you who have been with us since the beginning of the beta, you've been experimenting. I've seen some really wonderful creations, and now I'm not going to read all of these. I'm kind of just giving an overview of what went into this. But what Ross just showed, the wizard, is really the way that we've abstracted away that development process. Some of you have projects that require more than this, and I saw a question asking if there will be more than e-commerce. I can tell you that the things that are cooking are far-flung sci-fi visions at this point, so don't worry about that. This is just the beginning. But just a couple of the things that we're really proud of with this release, aside from simpler things like Ross had a default avatar, but we have Ready Player Me, so we have some avatar customization that your end users can take advantage of. But the really like the low level work that we did, the ability to not just load in a model, but like Ross showed you, change the colors and soon the textures of those models, resave them and repackage them in a performant way is a technical feat that we had to grapple with. The memory optimization work that we've done, I'll go over some stats in a minute here on the next slide, but this shouldn't work in a web browser, especially on an iPhone. iPhone is the most restrictive environment. And what the team has done with this is it's something that Unity is not able to do. It's something that like really no other system at a product level has ever been able to achieve. Individual teams have optimized their experiences to work in these constrained environments. But what we're doing for you all is to do all of that work so you never even have to know that it's an issue. It's just a website to you. And I'll go over that now. So there's just been a ton of work on the back end. And this headline up here, your mileage may vary depending on what you're doing. I know some of the scenes I've seen have been a bit bigger, and they will take time to load just because there's more stuff to download. But our reference scenes have gone from what were 10-second load times to 1-second load times. I can't tell you, the 3D content is big. It's not text on a static web page. These are giant data packed files that we're loading, like the surf shop scene up here. And the compression that we've added to the scene publishing workflow is reducing that by 93%. So I just lied to you. Uncompressed, these are giant files, but when we compress them down, especially these scenes that are built for people without any technical knowledge, these scenes actually are reaching the same kind of size as a static web page. And it's it's a pretty monumental feat, especially to do that without a lot of loss of visual fidelity. And so we're really proud of the team for that. There's also just been a lot of very esoteric memory optimization that has reduced it by about 70%. And there is actually more coming, not in this release, but in the next release, there will be even greater optimization, which to you means that things will load faster. People will have a smoother experience when they're using your websites. And back to the iPhone, that means you can have richer, more dynamic experiences on the iPhone without any performance issues. So we can definitely keep talking about this. There are 1,000 Jira tickets that have gone into making this all happen. But I'll end there, and we can reach out on Discord if you have any questions or want to hear more about what the engineering team has been up to.
Thanks, Griffin. We appreciate that. Now we're going to move, shift gears here a little bit, and Kevin and Nima are going to tell us about some of the upcoming product features that are coming down the line. So take it away, Kevin. I think you're going first.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Jason. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Wang. I'm the VP of Product for e-commerce at Infinite Reality. I'm really excited to share some of the cool e-commerce features we have in store that are launching in IR Studio over the next few weeks and months. We just saw Ross walk through how to set up an immersive showroom in IR Studio by connecting your existing Shopify store and populating your immersive space with your products. All of that is going to become even faster and easier to do with some of these upcoming features. So the first one I want to mention is that we're going to automatically populate your immersive space with your products, so you can immediately see what your space looks like with your products in there. You'll still have the option to go through and swap out the products and configure them individually to your liking. But if you're happy with the automatically populated products, you can just hit next and then move on to the next setup step. Next, we'll also be adding a feature that lets you very easily remove the backgrounds of any of your existing 2D product images. So once you connect your Shopify or your e-commerce platform, you'll be able to just take all your existing product images, even if they have a white background or like a colorful background, and just hit a button and it'll automatically remove the background and just focus in on the product itself to make it feel even more immersive in your 3D space. And you can actually see a preview of that feature in this screenshot here, where we've got this remove background on this sweater and a scarf. And it just isolates the product itself, and you'll be able to place that in your scene. And then the last feature I want to mention is probably the most exciting one for any e-commerce retailers that are interested in creating their own immersive store or immersive showroom. We're going to let you actually convert any of your existing 2D product images into full 3D models using cutting-edge generative AI technology. So even if you don't already have 3D models of your products in your current e-commerce stores, that won't be a problem. You'll just be able to generate them on the fly. And the AI will scan the existing product images you have and construct a 3D model that you can then place in your 3D immersive space. We can't wait for you to try out these features and take your e-commerce presence to the next level with IR Studio. And now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Nima to talk about some additional exciting upcoming features we have.
Hey everyone, my name is Nima. I'm the VP product on IR Studio and IR Engine, and we have been gathering everybody's feedback, and we've been so blown away by their support and seeing the really cool things that everyone's been building. And we've heard your feedback. So we have a lot of great things that we're going to be announcing today as part of our roadmap that are they're coming from the things that you have asked for. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. The first one is that we're going to update our IR client. So we call this our viewer. So this viewer 1.1 is going to be an overhauled experience. The client is what your users see when you publish a world with IR Studio. So when users go to your website, they're seeing the viewer. So those are the buttons that are on screen. That's how they're engaging with everything. We're going to be updating that with a whole new coat of paint. It's going to be a lot more responsive. It's going to have better UX, and that is coming in the near future. Alongside that, we are going to have our WebXR viewer. So for the first time on a public release, we are going to be enabling WebXR. That means that users on headsets like MetaQuest and Apple Vision Pro will be able to look around worlds that are built inside of IR Studio. We think this is a great way to let people see your worlds immersively. And in addition to that, really allow a complete spectrum of immersion, all the way from a hyper portable, hyper accessible smartphone, all the way to the deep immersion of a VR headset on a single piece of content that you've built. So you just build once and it runs everywhere. You don't have to worry about building different versions for different devices. It all just works thanks to IR Studio. We're also going to release a next generation camera system. So we think this is going to be really exciting for people who have a pretty clear vision about what they want their world to look like. So right now, as I'm sure you've seen, we have an avatar-based system that allows you to have either first person or third person or overhead view. We're going to make those systems a little bit more advanced and give you more options for how you control that, set defaults, and basically modify that. But in addition to that, we're going to have some really interesting new camera systems that we're calling our guided camera systems. We'll have a lot more to talk about on that in the future, but needless to say, there's going to be some really great spaces and tools that are going to be built with this next generation camera, and we can't wait to see what you guys do with it. We're also announcing our free trial for the first time. So we are going to be releasing a free trial sometime in the future, which allows people to try IR Studio before they buy and decide to subscribe. We want to make this as accessible as possible, and this is our first step towards that. Our core data systems are getting a complete overhaul, which comes with our GLTF refactor. As some of you may or may not know, our core data structure in IR Studio and IR Engine is called GLTF. It's the graphics language transfer format, and that basically allows you to, it's like a universal format that allows you to import and export a variety of different assets. So when you build something in IR Studio, you can export it, and you can open it back up in another IR Studio instance that maybe you sent to one of your colleagues, or you could even open it up in a completely different application. With our refactor, we're going to make things much more performance. We're also going to support the spec even better, so it's going to support more of the features. And that's also going to lead to other benefits, like the next one that I was talking about, undo and redo. We have heard you loud and clear. You want to be able to undo and redo the things that you've done in IR Studio, and the GLTF refactor directly is going to enable that. So now you're going to have multiple steps that you can go back. So if you've changed something and decide you don't like it, you can just undo it and start again. Or if you change your mind again, you can redo it and go back to that future state. All of these are in our roadmap right now, and our team is working on them. We have a lot of other things that we're working on too that we're not ready to share with you just yet. We wanted to give you a preview so that you could get excited and let us know which one of these you're most excited about. We listen to all your feedback, and the things that you tell us help us decide how to best serve you. So please engage with us on Discord, reach out to your customer success team, and hopefully we will build exactly the thing that you want in the near future. If we don't have what you want yet, let us know. Maybe it'll come in a future version. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nima. See, we are going to move right ahead to some Q&A. Someone asks, can we use AI-based images in building the environment? Can the flat 2D images turn to the camera angle? Can the videos be YouTube or Vimeo links? Do you offer live streaming videos? So a lot to unpack there. I'm not sure.
I think Kevin should probably start with the AI stuff, and then maybe I can talk about the features.
Yeah, specifically using AI-based images in building the environment. So we are going to expand the setup wizard that Ross walked through to start incorporating an AI agent that's going to help you build your world. And then through that, you're going to be able to just give some prompts about what type of immersive space, immersive website that you're interested in. And we're actually going to use generative AI to put together a scene for you. So it'll be a lot more flexible and customizable in terms of how you build the environment. You'll also be able to add an AI agent into your space to interact with the visitors of your space. So for example, if you're an e-commerce retailer and you want to have like a sales agent, an AI sales agent, you'll be able to place that into your immersive storefront, and that agent will know everything about your products and be able to answer any questions. As for can the flat 2D images turn into the camera angle? That is something that's on the roadmap. That doesn't happen right now, but also as I mentioned in some of the upcoming features update, we will also have the ability to just convert flat 2D images into 3D models that will just have a full 360 degree view. And then Nima, if you want to speak to some of the video links and live streaming.
Yeah, so currently you can upload whatever MP4 you want and play it back within IR Studio. We internally already have versions that connect to external video services as well as live streams. We are not ready to share with that yet, but let's just say we're pretty far down that path. All of the services you're thinking of are going to be supported one way or another in the near future. The specifics are going to come in the future, so yeah, please keep your eyes peeled, and you'll know as soon as it's ready.
Thanks, gentlemen. Someone asks, are we able to upload our own avatar?
So one thing that is a little bit complicated to talk about is sort of the delineation between there's sort of like three things. There's the open source IR engine, there's the hosted IR studio, and there's our infinite reality enterprise team. So there are certain things that you can do with either an enterprise team or the open source engine on your own that you can't do with studio yet. And this is one of those things. So if you want to do that, you can either do it yourself on the open source IR engine, or you could work with our enterprise team to get a version of the studio set up just for you that does that. Right now, our focus is supporting the Ready Player Me avatars, so customers can choose their own. They make an account and they can use whatever Ready Player Me avatar they want. But if custom avatars for your world is something that you care about and you feel like you need, please let us know. If we hear that that's a thing that a lot of our customers want, we will definitely prioritize doing that in the studio sooner rather than later.
Great, thank you, Nima. Someone asks, will IR Studio be able to be used by service providers like realtors or mortgage brokers, etc.? More of in the case use case.
Yes.
There we go. Anyone can anything you can dream of in 3D immersive is an applicable use case here. Can I connect my own shop database and images? What would be the specs for that?
Yeah, so I'll take this one. Right now, you can connect anything that you have already created on Shopify. So if you have anything uploaded to Shopify, that's our current shopping plugin or e-commerce plugin. We are exploring other, let's say, e-commerce platforms, but I can't speak to specifics in terms of like timeline or roadmap for those. If you want to see specific shop platforms supported, also please reach out and let us know what those are. When we get enough kind of volume asking for specific platforms, then we'll start to add those to the roadmap. Right now, basically, you can go create a Shopify account. Anything that is on Shopify, you can connect to the store today.
Some more questions about avatars here. It says Ready Player Me is changing to Player Zero, which we hope is just as good. Do you know what to expect? Do we have any insight onto those changes?
Unfortunately, we don't have any insight in terms of the changes. We're also just kind of keeping our eyes peeled and really staying abreast to the updates as they come from Ready Player Me. We are aware of those changes coming, but in terms of what they actually mean, we don't actually know the implications yet either.
Okay. Someone asks about the ability to import WebM video with transparency, says alpha question mark.
Yeah, WebM is supported. I'll be honest, I don't know that we have tried with transparency yet. unless Ross knows for a fact it works, I think it's one of those things that either you can test or we'll test it, and we'll be able to let you know really easily. WebM is fully supported. If transparency is part of the spec and we don't support that, we should support that immediately.
Okay. It says they would like to see how new products are added. I'm not quite sure what that means. If that's in the wizard,
I
it's
can
probably just,
maybe take
go
a
ahead.
stab here. Essentially, when you add new products to your Shopify store, as long as that connection has been made, you can refresh it in either the studio or the wizard flow, and then those new products that are getting added will show up. Now, our display right now will only display, the first, I don't know, 100 products or something like that. So if they don't show up there, you can try searching for it or filtering by the different collection in your Shopify if you have collections set up, and then they'll display for you there. So you don't need to add new things to both the studio and your Shopify. Just adding them to your Shopify store will also ensure that they show up in the studio, as long as it's the same store that you're adding to that's connected to the studio. Additionally, if you want to add more than the allotted product slots in the actual wizard flow, each template comes with a number of product slots, anywhere from, say, like 5 to 10, depending on the template. If you want to add more than that, then you'd have to open up the actual studio editor, and you can place actual e-commerce components into your scene. And that's a way you can add additional products beyond what the templates offer.
Great. Thank you, Ross. Well, just to wrap up, oh, here comes one. Can we do design in other design studios and then import into IR Studio seamlessly? Are there any other design studios we can not use?
So
Portability.
like I said earlier, we support the GLTF spec. It's an open spec. Any tool that you use to build GLTF will work. So I was using Blender recently. That's an open source and free tool that you can use. That's also the one we recommend. However, use whatever you want, as long as you either can export GLTF from your tool, or you can export into a format that can then be losslessly converted into GLTF without losing any of the data that you've put into it. It's going to work. You just export to that format, upload into IR Studio, and it just works. That means, anything you build, no matter how beautiful it is, no matter how high poly it is, it's all going to work. And then we do all the hard parts of ensuring that it's compressed and can get delivered through the web. So, yeah.
Thank you, Nima. Well, as we leave you, I'll just sort of remind you that these resources are available for you. So definitely do check out IR Studio, check out the Help Center, and the Discord is a great place to bounce some of these other questions around if you have additional ones. I'd like to thank all of our subject matter experts for chiming in today and for your contributions, getting this off the ground. And we will be doing or having regular webinars in the future, starting, I think, in June is the target, to have a regular cadence for webinars. So do come back, check out, see what we've got in store. We'll see more from some of these wonderful individuals here. And drop into the Discord and let us know what you would want to see, more information, webinars on, that sort of thing. So we, like Nima said, we very much care about what you want to hear and what you want to learn. And so we want to make sure that we're catering to you, our users. So without further ado, thank you for your time today. We really appreciate all your great questions. Hopefully this was useful, and hopefully we'll see you somewhere down the road. And hopefully you can create some really cool stuff with IR Studio. Thanks, folks.